Welcome to Everything You Need to Know About the Ascension of Humanity, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern science and spiritual evolution gets real. I'm Heather, an energy healer, channel, and spiritual coach with Divine Ascension Company. Each week, we're diving deep into the mysteries of human consciousness, spiritual awakening, and the profound transformation happening within us and around us. But here's the thing. We're not doing this with our heads in the clouds. We're bringing neuroscience, psychology, quantum physics, and cutting-edge research to the table alongside meditation, energy work, and timeless spiritual teachings. Because the truth is, the ascension of humanity isn't some far-off cosmic event. It's happening right now in the choices we make, the awareness we cultivate, and the healing we do within ourselves. Whether you're curious about how mindfulness literally rewires your brain, why shadow work is backed by depth psychology, or what coherence between your heart and mind actually means scientifically, you're in the right place. We'll explore practices like breathwork, meditation, and emotional alchemy, not as abstract concepts, but as tangible tools grounded in both spiritual wisdom and scientific understanding. And here's where it gets even better. In our bonus episodes, you'll hear from real people sharing real stories. These are the warriors, the healers, the everyday seekers who've walked through their own darkness and found their light. They'll share their breakthroughs, their struggles, and the resources that actually helped them along the way. Because personal growth isn't a solo journey, and you deserve to know you're not alone. So whether you're just beginning to question the nature of reality, or you're deep in your spiritual practice, this podcast is your companion on the path. It's time to expand, to awaken, and to rise together. Let's begin. Welcome back to Everything You Need to Know About the Ascension of Humanity. I'm your host, Heather Zimmerman. Today, I'm joined by the incredible Jenn Martinez. She's one of my favorite people ever. And we're diving deep into some truly expansive territory: Akashic Records, Reiki, and past life connections. We'll talk about what it really means to access divine knowledge and some insights on how to begin your holistic healing. Whether you're new to this path or you've been walking it for years, there's something in this conversation for you. Let's begin. Jenn, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for the welcome.
Awesome.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Jenn Martinez, and I've been doing holistic healing for the last 8 years. And with that, I started out with QHHT, which is my hypnosis, and then carried on into my very favorite thing to do now is Akashic Record reading. With a little bit of Reiki on the side, as I am a Reiki master, and I enjoy that too. So I have a few modalities that I blend together because I feel like they collaborate very well and can go where I need them to, just as we're all a little different, and doing that holistic healing is something that isn't just a cookie cutter 1, 2, 3 style technique. So that's why I really like it, because we're all unique, and so it just fits you, fits that person each time. And so, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. And so been my journey of just connecting to people like Heather and others. And just really appreciate being in this industry, this field. It's eye-opening, it's changed my life. Each session changes my life, shifts me to a more awakened me, a more integrated me. And I really like it. I really enjoy the journey.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about Akashic Records. I don't think we've discussed that yet. So what can you
Okay.
tell us about what exactly that is?
Yeah, so the Akashic Records are an energetic library of information that contains collective consciousness of all souls throughout time and space. It's a source of divine knowledge and understanding that can be accessed by anyone who's willing to open their heart and mind, just to the wisdom, to the universe, and it just kind of gives us insight and guidance through our relationships, to our spiritualness, why we're really here. It just gives us more clarity on purpose.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
said anybody who's willing to open their heart can access them. Someone told me once that not everybody can access it. And I've also been asked if you can access someone else's Akashic records. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So we're all consciously built the same. We are all oneness. And so that gives us all the ability to connect to our hearts and minds and do a little soul searching in our own lives of connecting our desires to access the Akashic records because they're there, but you have to raise your energy to access it. So someone with maybe not good intentions, they're not they're not going to be able to access it. They may be able to access a level of energy that could give them something, but really it's it's being pure for the intentions of that person that you're accessing, and you can get into others. That's what I do is I ask for permission to go into your Akashic records. Otherwise I wouldn't need to on my own. Like I only do it with the person present, because it's their life. So it's tapping into that wisdom of the universe, what they need to know more, clarity, guidance, yeah, a deeper understanding of themselves. Um, yeah.
So do you think you're able to access other people's records because you're trained in doing this? Like, I'm not trained in Akashic Records reading. Could I go in and be like, hey, I want to access my best friend's records? Would that be possible? Or is it more like you kind of have special permission because this is what you do?
Mhm. Yeah, it's really good to, if you're interested in any modality, is take some courses, take some, really, it's like taking a class, if you want to become an engineer. It's the same way of knowing the ins and outs from a mentor who's been doing it tons of times. And yes, actually, you could do several things. If you want to be professional, taking the course and actually having a certificate, learning it properly so that you do know the ins and outs a little bit before you, you go right in, of course, is very professional and very precise, keeping you sharp. But if you want to have fun and dabble a little bit, we have the ability within us. So, yes, you definitely can meditate and exercise that part of your mind because really it is all just that meditation, clearing the mind, exercising that energy by always going back into it, always connecting to the higher self and the guides. So, yeah, you can definitely do both ways. Have fun and play and just go into your best friend's records, of course, with good intentions always. So it's setting those intentions to prior, and really what do you want from it, so that, and the other side knows that. And so they already know and feel your vibration, and that also gives you full access to anyone's records. Hmm.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So is like you said to go like in meditation or whatever, but so is the Akashic Records like a place or how do you access it? Like what exactly do you have to do to get there?
Yeah. So I so it's kind of it's interesting as the human part. There are some steps that get you there when you take courses. So and the steps would just be really clearing your mind, connecting to the divine white light. You can project a few images in your mind, such as a library, them opening the gates of the library, however that would look for you. They're guardians there, Octurians. They're guardians of the records so that it doesn't get tainted and that bad energy doesn't go into it. Because there is an energetic level that you get to with your consciousness. And that's really what I mean by getting there. And it's a partnership, if you ask me, because I also bring in my guardian angels, my galactic team, depending on if this being in front of me is galactic, if they're human based. There's a lot of different things I've learned in the several years of doing Akashic readings, but I guess it's not having any expectations of what that person would bring and letting it be open. So I set my intentions to the best, receiving the best for that person. And then again, with permission, it gives you, it basically, I basically go into this energetic vibration for that person, consciously closing my eyes. Um, and I do at first kind of project images of the Arcturians, and they're very beautiful, and they open these beautiful gates to this library of all your existence. And then I go to this wall and I actually do see all of your lives in all of these books. Um, and that's just kind of a fun way to do it. I have done other ones where I can walk your strand, your life strand I see in the universe, and I can just walk down it, and it's silver and shimmery, and then I can see each life as a spinning golden orb. That is also another way I go into people's, but it's really fun to just through the library projection, see the book of your life for this life current, and just open it up and let it absorb into my consciousness. And then I just kind of go from there and allow my collaboration with my higher self and their higher self, and just kind of blending that so I can really get what is needed for that client at that time.
Awesome. So the
Yeah.
Arcturians are the guardians of the Akashic Records. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, that's very special. They actually had to start doing that eons ago because the battles of the Orion War was to access it and taint the records and scramble them up, and then the souls would be lost in that aspect. And so the Octurians, they are very high vibrational beings, pure love and light, pure unconditional love. And so they already knew that. And so they have this protected and somewhat hidden away from, that's why I said at the beginning, that low energy, hidden away from anyone with bad intentions, giving them false information so they can't taint this beautifulness with the Akashic Records. Yeah.
it's amazing. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
So you said that doing Akashic Records reading has changed your life. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. I guess what it's done has broken down beliefs of that it's impossible, broken down beliefs of there's another side, there's beings on the other side that can keep these records safe. So each time going into it and getting the pure connection, the divine love that we're all meant, um, that's where I think it shifts my mind to, wow, it's as simple as breathing. It's as simple as air, and they're right there. You don't have to think about it. It's just like your breath. You just breathe. And it's the same kind of belief in me that, wow, they're right there. It's full on love. It's full on whatever you need to get through these struggles. Or if you're just basking in joy already and giving you more of that radiating energy into you, that you're on the right path, that this is right, this is it, that I guess that's really what changed my life. It broke down beliefs that I kind of was like, I can't, I don't think that's right. It doesn't seem,
Mhm.
there's a lot of old beliefs I had. Those were broken down by going through each miraculous session and watching the true healing take place in these people, my clients coming out of it rejuvenated, fresh, clear. They understood. They felt lighter. I mean, that was proof, and that literally radiated into me of you know all that is right there, and this is the most, it really is um a beautiful technique,
Mhm.
and a great way to, um, just feel that divine love. We get suffocated with the heavy emotions. And so that's really what I feel about, as far as it changing my life. Definitely.
So, what's the most interesting record reading that you've ever done?
Yeah, I've done quite a few that are spectacular. I feel like my very favorite, and it's only because it was one of my top 20 people. When I very first started, I went to this retreat and I was doing them in a little tent. And so you could come into my tent and do 10 minutes. And because I was doing multiple people, the energy, you have to really be careful because you're raising your energy higher to meet their energy. And so it can be taxing on me. And so I'm really reserved on how many times I do that to myself in a day. So I felt 10 minutes was good. I met this lady and I didn't know her at all. And she was magnificent. She was a being in the Orion system and she built and worked on spaceships for the Orion Wars. And she was just this little, I would best describe her as like a little Yoda style being, but she was brown and the ears weren't as pointy, but she was brilliant. She had stayed in the Orion system and did the wars for over 8,000 years. So she kept rejuvenating herself to come back and to come back. And when I told her all of this, she cried because she had dreamt she had these feelings throughout her whole life. And so she just couldn't believe that it was that I could do that and that she was given that. And she was like, no one knows. She's like, these are dreams that I had. And I'm like, right. It's just that powerful.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
it really is. Yeah, it really was incredible. Hmm.
So, I think I might have you come back at some point so we can talk about the Orion Wars because it's come up quite a few times, and
Hmm.
I know I'm pretty sure you have too, but have had lifetimes in that time frame, and I would really like to discuss that sometime, but
Oh, awesome.
that's for another day.
Yeah, sounds great.
So, what recommendation or advice do you have for someone who is considering doing an Akashic Records reading? They don't really know much about it, but they're like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." And kind of what should they do? Is there
Yeah.
anything that they should prepare for, or,
Mhm. Yeah, I really, when that happens for a person, when they come to that conclusion of, wow, this is something I'm not used to, it's going to break all my belief systems because they're maybe used to going to the doctor, going to a psychiatrist, going to a therapist. Um, this will break down their belief systems as far as that, because then you realize how magical you really are when you receive this kind of a session. So generally, yes, I like the client to just for, that week span that they're waiting to get into me is to what are your intentions? Have you been feeling ill? How's your body feeling? Bring those things to surface because it's all energy and it all needs to be transmuted. What are your emotions? Have you been tucking down ridicule and abandonment for years and you just keep getting beat up? So it's deep diving into heavy emotions, but also not putting the pressure of, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm scared. That's going to surface, but it's also being kind to yourself in those moments of that's okay. You're safe. And you've already been through it. You've already been through, I would say, the hellish parts of most people's life.
Mhm.
We've already done and we want something different. We want the love. We want the clarity, the lighter feeling. So it's just really, I also suggest usually I send them a little confirmation of saying, read a little Edgar Casey. He's my mentor. Of course, he's from the early 1900s, but he is the first Akashic Record reader ever in our existence, I suppose.
Mhm.
And he's very prominent as far as all of his books. He's probably got over 20 plus. He's done over God, 50,000 sessions that have been recorded and documented. Only thing changed in any of the sessions were the name. That was it. They just
Mhm.
changed the name and like everything else is the same. And I admire that too. Yeah. But yeah, I usually want the person to just have good intentions before coming into it, what they're really seeking out of something this light. It's definitely different.
Mhm.
But mostly everyone comes out of it amazed. They're in awe. They can't find anything bad on it. And I know that most people look for the bad because that's what we're programmed to do. So they will definitely go, okay, I don't see anything bad out of it. And so that is rewarding too on my side. But yeah, I always feel like every session is brought the person to the awe moment, the exactly what they were seeking, the spectacular um, feeling that you feel when you've done something so amazing.
Mhm.
When you come out of it, it's so yeah, yeah.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah. Edgar Casey has a
yes,
lot of really good information out there too. He's done so much. It's amazing.
yes. He was incredible. Yep.
So what's the difference between an Akashic Records reading and say a QHHT session?
Yeah. So oh, okay. Yeah. So the difference is I go under for the Akashic record reading with clarity for you. Um, and the hypnosis for QHHT, because that is what it is, you go under and I guide you through those moments. Um, both being magnificent. Most people are intimidated by going under. um, they block themselves right away. Oh, I can't do this. There's no way. So that can be a bit of a challenge. So you definitely would want to go under. You would want that sense, you would want to desire, have intentions to go and do a QHHT, which is absolutely beautiful. You can see it opens your third eye.
Hmm.
It's magnificent because you realize you are the universe.
Hmm.
Um, and when you get a session done by me, it can give you that same feeling. It's just a little bit different because you're sitting there observing and watching me give you a message, which is in the same way very like, whoa, this is incredible. How did you know that? And it's not me. It's your Akashic reading. It's your records that it's tapped into me. But they're both giving you that deeper understanding of the universe, yourself, life. It kind of all comes together full circle when you get one or the other.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember you did my QHHT session,
Mhm.
and I know I've brought this up a few times in some of the episodes about my lifetime of being buried alive. And if there was any doubt, and I didn't at this point, I knew about reincarnation, I knew about, past lives and stuff, but if there had been any doubt after going through that process, there certainly wasn't after that. But I also didn't think I could be hypnotized either, and the
Mhm.
process was so easy. I mean, I cried the whole time because both
Mhm.
both lives that I visited were very sad as an
Mhm.
observer and an empath, um but yeah, like it was just
Mhm.
it was very easy to go to that place once I, knocked down that castle wall and like let myself in. But the
Right.
actual hypnosis part was very simple, and it was not at all what I was expecting it to be. It was very easy and very just natural to
Yeah.
go there. You know what I mean?
It's very gentle. It just takes down the veil. We all have this veil hiding, I mean, where we can't realize that we're part of the universe. And then when we get through that barrier, it's very rewarding to do QHHT because it's like I want everyone to have the same thing I have, and I know we all have it in there. And so that's where I say it's rewarding because you get to see it and you get to see it for yourself or feel it or whatever is the sensation that comes through. experience it. That makes me feel like overjoyed because that's why we're in the bodies to make you think about the ones before us. They all tried to live their lives and do what we're doing now, but they didn't succeed that way. The darkness consumed them, and they just weren't able to bring in that light. And wow, we get to be here at this time. We get to awaken in the human body with our souls and integrate it together and become very powerful, but not like in a power, like an ego powerful. It's, tapping into God. It's tapping into the source, this divine powerfulness that all is well and it's great. And it feels so good to watch someone awaken. It's overjoy for me. It brings me to tears because it's a great feeling. Yeah, it's very rewarding to watch someone wake up and have those experiences and just carry on and be the best in their life. That feels so good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I've done some, I don't know if they've aired yet, but I've done some episodes on past life regression. Is QHHT and past life regression kind of the same thing?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You're just getting out those negative lives. It's never going to show you a great life unless it needs to. Um, it's all getting rid of that old dense energy that one before just couldn't do.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So is that kind of the point of doing a QHHT session? Is like releasing that
Yeah,
those built up emotions that you've carried over from past lives?
right. Exactly. So your soul is the traveling journey man going into these new personalities and bodies and past life regression. Of course, the soul has done it so many times through and through and through. It's like leapfrog. It leaves that body and goes to the next one it needs to work out what it needs to. Really, yes, that is what QHHT is clearing out these past lives. Which it does get interesting the more you go down the journey of holistic healing. Um, but yeah, it clears out what, ridicule, abandonment, people have past lives had really sad endings, shot, taken out, buried alive, hung
Hmm.
at the stake, burned at the stake.
Hmm.
And I'm getting a lot of those realizing they just need to be healed, but the person needs to heal them as well as I guide you to that point for the healing. And
Hmm.
that's the true power is the person, the personality of that human to heal that part of the soul's journey. Really, the soul has bounced around. It can't get rid of them. It can't get rid of the bag of emotions when it leaves out of the body. So that's where it's so powerful to do it in the body,
Hmm.
um, and transmute that energy. Yeah.
So I know that talking about my QHHT session now is a lot easier than it was right after the session. I'm pretty sure I like forced you off of the Zoom chat with me because I was like, I need time to process. But when you're actually going through it, I mean, it can sound a little daunting, like, oh, you're watching yourself be buried alive. And I've had another lifetime where I was a ruler in Egypt and was stabbed to death like Julius
Mm.
Caesar because I took advantage of the power and all the things. But like, what do you have to say to people who are like, oh, wow, that sounds really scary? Like, what do you do to kind of get through that with your clients?
Yeah, that's the true power of QHHT is as the practitioner, it's really important. When Dolores developed that technique, she realized the body is going to go in that ego mode of, oh gosh, I'm scared. Oh gosh, no, 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 no. Let's hyperventilate. Let's start shaking. Let's even throw up if we have to. That is what the body will do to resist going through that heavy trauma. And yeah, we don't need to I mean, like the practitioner, that's the importance, I suppose, of the practitioner guiding you through, relaxing the body constantly, letting the person be the observer constantly, and just always checking in constantly with the person and the body, watching it and comforting it and pulling them back so that they don't go into that panic mode of, oh gosh, there's past life. And not everyone's going to have that experience. I think the deeper we go with our spirituality, um, we're pulling up those lives to heal them. So that's really what your intention should be too, is like, okay, this is past life. Okay, I could get a scary life, but guess what? I'm in the hands of Jen and she knows she's gonna make sure that my body isn't freaking out and hyperventilating and gagging and wanting to stand up. Um, that's why it's a balance and it's lots of moving parts, and it's very important to connect to your practitioner. You've got to feel safe with them in that little one-on-one meeting before you go under. And if you don't feel safe, don't do it. It's okay. That's the best part is there's hundreds of us now. And so just finding the right practitioner for you, the right just having that comfort, just
Mhm.
that voice that will just it's like someone grabbing your hand and say, "Okay, we're going to go do this together." It's scary, but I'm going to be right here with you the whole time.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was important. I think
Hmm.
it would have been very different if I had tried to do that myself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So I was talking to this lady yesterday. She's an evidential medium. We were recording an episode, and she was saying about how she has noticed that a lot of people who are on the spiritual journey have a lot of like childhood memories that they don't remember because they are attached to their past lives. And I've noticed a lot of people, especially light workers, starseeds, stuff like that, um, a lot of them don't remember their childhood, me included. Like I have a lot of trauma that I went through in this lifetime where I disassociated and that affects your memory. But she was
Mhm.
saying about how a lot of people who are like really attached to events that have happened in their past lives, that it has affected their memory in their childhood growing up in this lifetime. What are your thoughts on that?
And their past lives, you're saying,
Yeah,
that they're tapping into?
they're not tapping into them. They just don't have the memory. Like they might be having dreams or memories of the past lives, but
Hmm.
as children, they don't realize that. But they notice as an adult looking back that they are missing a lot of childhood memories. And
Hmm.
she's making the correlation that these people are just very attached to events that happened in their past life. And
Hmm.
that they're attached to those lives. So they're not creating new memories in this lifetime because they're still attached to those past lives.
Right. That's, yeah, exactly. So what's happening inside us also is there's just turmoil of, wow, the soul's inside a human body. Oh, okay. Well, the universe here, let's just beam them because we got to fix this life. There's this life, then there's that life, and there's also this life. And then, so there's it, it could then to me that as a Reiki master, it says you're getting too much energy. It's like tapping into the internet and all of a sudden it surges through you and you know all, or everything's kind of coming at you and you're not sure. It's scrambly. It's like, oh, there's this and there's that. And so it's just awakening part of your consciousness. Also, it could be flowing in too much. And as creatures of the earth, we also are fascinated that our minds can do that. And so then they go a little wild and we don't kind of pull back the reins and see what is really trying to come to us. And that's why I always feel like meditation and using a few tools to like get, whatever it is, if that's journaling, if that's meditation with music, if that's exercising with music, using your tools to relax that part of your mind. Um, but as kids, we're so pure. You have to remember how pure, pure, pure we are when we're kids, but we get tainted by our environment. So there's a little bit always going on, and we're all different. So I would really have to, for me, figure out, like I would as a practitioner want to, kind of meet with that person, know a little bit more because we all are a little different. Um, but connecting to it just shows our ability to connect to the other side. But if there's drama, any kind of trauma, we can tend to block that out. I did do a session on someone who couldn't remember until they were 10. So their whole little kid life, like baby to 10 or however you want to say, they couldn't remember anything. And when we got to the higher self said that they were actually on the other side and that there was a step in, a soul
Walk in, yeah.
step in, a
Yep.
walk in,
Hmm.
yeah, walk in, to just make the body keep moving and existing.
Hmm.
But they were doing a lot of work on the other side, and they needed to be fully on the other side to get this download and work. So she didn't need to remember those years, is what the higher self said. These years now currently were more important for her to be more present. So it definitely goes off of you and what you have going on. And she was from Hong Kong, so that it was interesting. I love her, adore her. She blew my mind. Because, I'm like, well, that's weird. So did something happen when you were a little kid? My mind went like, oh no, did you get abused when you were little and you just blacked it
Hmm.
out? She didn't. She
Yeah.
was super loved, um and she's a spiritual worker now, and she just didn't need to be in the kid body and have that experience. So it's interesting how we all have a little something different going on at that time, being so
Yeah.
pure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Hmm.
So, one of the things that I love about connecting with you is your connection with the galactic beings, which I have a story that I need to tell you after this,
Okay.
after we're done recording, that about some things that have happened this week. But um, with that in mind, and with how far you've come on your spiritual journey and the things that you've experienced. So this podcast is called The Ascension, Everything You Need to Know About the Ascension of Humanity. So for people
Hmm.
who are like, what is that? I don't know what's going on. But they're starting to ask those questions like, what more is there to life? Blah, blah, blah. So
Hmm.
what advice or suggestions or guidance can you give to these people who are listening who are kind of starting at the beginning? Like what's the one piece of advice that you would give to them?
Take baby steps into the holistic healing world, because once you tap into this divine oneness, it tends to move pretty fast because it's pretty excited that you finally woke up. So lots of paying attention to what goes in your mouth. Drink the fresh water, get the fresh air into your lungs, exercise, move your body, meditate. Meditate can be any which way you need it to be. It can be meditating while you're exercising. It's really just you need to you're aiming towards calming that yakety yak mind down. And mostly women have that, unfortunately, I just have a lot in our minds. But it's like putting a few things that would relax the body, condition the body to um, be more balanced, stay centered, go out into nature, love on nature, plant a tree, plant a garden, love on that garden. It's very important now that we connect to earth, become that, have Gaia in us, have her vibrating through us, being one with Earth. That really is a big message to everyone, and pay attention to um, the hustle and bustle and, oh, I have to get the sugary drinks, I have to get the fake food. Pay attention to that. Have more vibrational food, prayer. I always say, Reiki over my food if it's going to be the low energy food. If
Hmm.
you're stuck with that, and you can add more energy into those foods.
Hmm. Yeah, I
But
bless my food too.
yeah, so it's like really paying attention what goes in your mouth and what goes on your body and your environment.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe stop going out. Some people like to go out and then they're like, oh, why'd I do that? Maybe put a little bit more restriction on that. Give yourself that, that comfort. And then now here we are going into a new year. And so, what are your intentions for the year? Do you want to be your best self? It's always aiming to be your best self, and what does that look like? Everyone's different. So yeah, so it's just being really easy on transitioning to um, letting go of some things and becoming your best self.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're almost out of time. So you've mentioned a bunch of modalities and stuff that you do. Can you just, if someone's interested in having a session with you, regardless of what kind it is, can you just let everyone know how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can email me personally, and I'll give you my email, and then you can just, do you want me to say it out loud,
Yeah,
Jen?
you can just say it and then you don't have
Yeah.
to spell it out or anything. I'll make sure it's in the description, but if you just want to.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, you can email me at jen-m-wi-s at Outlook. Um, That's really going to be the easiest way to, you can definitely go to my, where I learned Akashic Record reading, and that is Debbie Solaris. And I'm posted on her website too as a practitioner and certified for Akashic Record reading. And yeah,
Awesome.
sweet.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Okay.
being on. This was a pleasure, and I definitely want to have you back on again. I'm just the two of us. We have so much stuff we could talk about for sure.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It was really great to be on here today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's all for today's episode. If you're ready to go deeper into this work, head to divineascensionco.com to explore my programs or book a session. And if this episode helped you see something new, the best thank you is sharing it with someone else on this path. And if you've been feeling called to experience something truly transformative, I'd love for you to join me on a sacred pilgrimage to Egypt in September 2026. Spots are limited. Visit divineascensionco.com/Egypt for all the details or reach out if you have any questions. I'll see you next time.